welcome to our presentation. This presentation involves a couple of concepts and ideas that we have from previous knowledge and what we know about them, and then we'll also be talking about some things that we have learned in our first week of our child development paper. So the first thing we're going to talk about is two theorists that we've learned about in previous papers. The first theorist being Yuri Bronfenbrenner and his ecological systems theory model. So this model identifies 5 environmental systems which influence a child's growth and development. This was an influential approach for understanding the relationship between the individual and the environment. The child influences their environment just as the environment influences the child. So the 5 systems, in the middle we have the individual and the 5 systems around him. So the microsystem refers to the immediate environment in which the individual lives. This includes interactions with people whom a child spends the most time with, such as family, peers and teachers. The mesosystem, the second layer, refers to the relationship amongst microsystems or connections between contexts. The exosystem involves the broader social settings that do not directly involve the child yet still have an impact on their development. The macrosystem describes the overarching ideology, laws, values and customs of the culture in which the individual lives. And the final context in Bronfenbrenner's model is the chronosystem. This refers to aspects of time and the way contexts and processes change and emerge over time. Another theorist that we learnt about previously is Mason Jury and the Te Whare Tapawha model. So this is a holistic model that compares health to the 4 walls of a house, all 4 walls being necessary to ensure strength, well-being and balance. This model incorporates the interconnectedness of dimensions of health and how the individual's well-being can be strengthened and weakened by each wall. If one dimension is weak or lacking in strength and stability, then the other aspects of health will also be affected. This model acknowledges the importance of the interactions between people and their environment. And the 4 dimensions are te taha hinenaro, which is psychological health, te taha whānau, family health, te taha tinana, physical health, and te taha wairua, spiritual health.
And our next aspect of prior knowledge was the social construction of childhood. So a social construct is a belief or concept that is being accepted within a society that creates meaning through social interactions. It is a shared understanding that does not exist naturally but has been created by humans and becomes a part of our everyday reality. These constructs vary between societies and change over time. Child development is constructed as it is subject to change according to time, place and culture. The term childhood is looked at differently within different societies. Childhood is both constructed and reconstructed both by and for children. Children's development is a social and cultural process. Children don't grow up on their own. Children learn to think, feel, communicate and act within social relationships in the context of particular cultural settings and practices, mediated by beliefs about how children should be treated and what it means to be a child.
Okay, our knowledge that we've learned from this week, one we've picked is the Industrial Revolution, child labour. It started in the 19th century. Child labour was accepted as okay. Children often worked at a young age due to their family's financial situation and pressure to contribute to the family resources. They had to leave school to go to work, and orphans often worked as it was the only means to earn money to get food, shelter and clothing. Children from as young as 6 years old worked long hours in factories and mills for little or no pay. Children were often preferred to adults because they could fit into small spaces and under the machines and between machines. Children were often left with sickness, injuries and disfigurements due to hazardous conditions and working around dangerous chemicals. Orphans or children from poor families were sold at auction to the highest bidder, making them essentially slaves. They were often lied to and told they were going to be turned into ladies and gentlemen and fed plum pudding and roast beef and have cash in their pockets. Instead, they were given porridge and milk and turned into parish apprentices.
Go!
Finally, to conclude, we have chosen our 2 discourses. The first discourse is from Jean-Jacques Rousseau. The discourse, Romanticism, is said to favour concrete over abstract, variety over uniformity, nature over culture, and freedom over constraint. Rousseau argued that children are born inherently good and can become corrupted by the evils of society. We are born good, and that is our natural state. Children should be valued for what they are, not for what they will become. Children determine their own destinies, and the educator needs to facilitate opportunities for learning. Central to Rousseau's ideas is that it is possible to preserve the original perfect nature of the child by means of careful control of his education and environment. Not all children are the same and should be treated individually. Education should be unique to the needs of each child. Children are very different to adults and are innocent, vulnerable, and entitled to freedom and happiness. Okay, and for our second discourse, we've chosen John Locke, and it is Tabula Rasa, or blank slate, white paper. The idea that people are born without innate ideas. They are born neither inherently good nor evil. A child's character and personality develops over childhood and could be shaped by all kinds of experiences while growing up. Parents could shape children through careful instruction, effective example, and rewards for good behaviour. Adults surrounding a child could potentially have a long-lasting effect on a child's personality. His theory involved rote learning with instructions, not reciprocal learning. A child should be taught virtue, wisdom, breeding, and learning. And so I'd like to thank you all for watching this presentation, and hope you enjoyed it. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa.